I'm Shep Hyken, and here's what's coming up next on this edition of Be Amazing or Go Home. The influence of Gen Z. Are you ready for the new customers who are going to change the way you do business? I'll have 5 tips to help you prepare your business for the future influential customer. Leverage your mindset. Ricky Kalmon joins us in the studio to tell us how your mindset can be the greatest tool in reaching your potential. You don't want to miss it. The values conversation. And speaking of unleashing your potential, Jeff Arthur drops by to share the process of identifying what really counts in life and leadership. And the customer service mantra. This amazing quote may shock you, but it will also show you the importance of creating and aligning with your organization's customer service promise. So, are you ready to be amazing? Stay tuned for all of this and more coming up next on Be Amazing or Go Home. Hello, I'm Shep Hyken, and this is Be Amazing or Go Home, the show dedicated to take you from average to amazing. Are you ready for new customers who are going to change the way you do business? In the near future, Generation Z may become your most influential customers. And even if you do understand them, you can't stop there. You must move to action. In my world of customer experience, we always look for opportunities to make the experience better. We know it works when the customer decides to buy. So with that in mind, I'd like to share 5 key drivers that determine the initial purchases for Gen Z. This comes from Jason Dorsey's amazing book titled Zeconomy. Number 1, price. The most important driver of an initial purchase for a Gen Z consumer was price. However, it's not necessarily the lowest price that they're after. They want the best deal, and that comes from the value that's tied to the quality of the product and the ease and the convenience of the purchase, what friends are saying about it, and more. The overall value proposition makes the price less or even more relevant. Number 2, ease of purchase. Everyone wants convenience, and that especially applies to Gen Z. The harder it is to do business with you, the harder it is to make the sale. Even something as simple as an extra step in your online checkout process will cause Gen Z customers to turn to the competition. Whether it's online or in-store, focus on an easy and frictionless experience. Number 3, online ratings and reviews. Gen Z puts a lot of stock in what others say. Online ratings and reviews are important as part of the buying experience. They do their research before they buy. According to Jason Dorsey's 2018 State of Gen Z study, 68% of Gen Z customers read or watch at least 3 reviews before a first-time purchase. 16% will read or watch 9 or more ratings and reviews before they make that first purchase. Number 4, easy returns. Now, I refer to this as a modified try before you buy. In this case, it's try after you buy, but the promise of an easy return can be interpreted as a form of a guarantee. And number 5, knowing someone who has bought and used the product. When a friend or family member recommends a product or service, the credibility factor increases exponentially. There's an old saying that people want to do business with those they know, they like, and they trust. The trust part is the hardest one to achieve. However, that job becomes much easier for businesses when it's customers who are doing the marketing. Word of mouth recommendations are worth their weight in gold. Gen Z is expected to impact businesses for at least the next 10 years. And when you break it down, their needs and expectations are simple. Make it worth the money to do business with you. Be as effortless, quick, and convenient as possible. Make it easy for them to research you and provide plenty of testimonials and reviews. Nail these 5 drivers and you'll have the chance to get Gen Z customers in the door. What if I told you that enhancing your mindset and creating awareness of your thoughts could change the way you live, work, and think? Well, Ricky Kalmon reveals in his book, Leverage Your Mindset, just how our mindset can be the greatest tool in achieving those new heights, reducing stress and increasing productivity and potential. And Ricky joins us now in the studio to talk about how to do exactly that. How you doing, Ricky?
I'm great, Shep. Thanks for having me on.
Great. We've got this book, Leverage Your Mindset. Great book. This is all about, I mean, you're a mindset expert, and this is all about getting in the right mindset to take your best intentions and turn them into accomplishments. So you know what, before we go any further, give me the 30-second, like you and I have known each other for years and years. You do corporate events, right? And these are conventions, conferences, and you are hired to come in and do these motivational speeches. And by the way, you're extremely entertaining. And then they go into workshops. What do they do?
Well, really, it's showing people that their mind can be their best friend or their worst enemy at times. I mean, we all know everything we do in life is determined by our mindset. Our doubts, our disbeliefs, our decisions, our actions, our commitments are all decided between our ears. The question is, how often are you attentive towards your thoughts? So to answer your question, I teach people how to really change the way they think so they can change their world. And most people know what to do already. I mean, if I asked you, if you want to do something, you could probably give me exactly how you should be doing it and what you should be doing versus what's holding you back. The question is, why aren't you doing it?
Okay, so I've got a question about that. Holding me back. Should I recognize what could hold me back? Is that important to know?
Absolutely. Why not? Self-discovery never ends. It's really about updating your internal script.
I like that. Self-discovery never ends. We'll tweet that one out. That's good. So I need to recognize what could get in the way of me achieving whatever it is that I want, and then give me like the process.
Well, it's usually ourselves. We forget about ourselves. You know, even a golfer. I've worked with sports teams, individual athletes, and they'll spend hours training their muscles, creating muscle memory, but the really great, amazing athletes, the ones that you admire, even the musicians, I bet you understand the power of mind memory, about creating confidence, self-belief, and even when doubt comes in the room, how do you push it aside? Acknowledge it, it's there, we're human, we're not perfect, but how do we take over that software and update new software so it guides us in the direction that we want it to take us?
All right, software for the mind, if you will. So you do this in corporate settings.
Absolutely.
Do you work with individuals, like from the standpoint of, can they hire you to just say, hey, I need a coach, I need somebody to work through an issue? You know, to put it into athletes' terms, I'm a baseball player and I'm in a slump.
Absolutely.
Okay? I could be a business person, a salesperson, struggling to make sales.
You could be a CEO. You could be a C-suite executive that really wants to not only help his team or her team lead them, who's leading them personally.
Right.
And so these tools are really simple. I mean, it's not complex rocket science here we're talking about. It's about taking 10 or 15 minutes a day. If you're going to work out, if you're going to spend time Googling, Facebooking, all that stuff online, we Twitter, we do all that stuff. But I bet you it's a lot more than 10 or 15 minutes. The average person spends about an hour and 20 minutes on social media.
Now, if we took half of that time, let's say even a quarter of that time, and devoted it to exercises in this book, Leverage Your Mindset, by the way, available in Amazon and bookstores almost everywhere. If you were to, so I assume there's some exercises in the book, and how long do they take to do?
That's a great question, Shep. I wrote the book, and our whole philosophy, even when I do corporate speaking, there's no quick fix. I'm not going to snap my fingers and life is perfect. And at that point, I teach people that daily exercises. So the book is actually set up as a 14-day plan. Read a chapter a day for 14 days. That's it. Stop.
And how long does it take me to read a chapter?
10 or 15 minutes.
10 or 15 minutes. If I would just get off Facebook for 10 or 15 minutes, read a chapter, and then do something about the chapter?
Absolutely. There are some action steps of reinforcement of what you just learned, and then there's an action step of meditation. And you know, when I say that word meditation, there are people going,
I'm already starting to relax and go to sleep. Help me on that.
But you know, Shep, there's also people that go, yeah, this stuff isn't for me. It's a little soft. It's a soft skill. These are hard skills. These are hard skills that make people better. And that's what I'm teaching you to do, is really be a better version of yourself and challenge yourself to celebrate that.
Okay, so Ricky, you've got the book, Leverage Your Mindset, and I just found out today, just before we came on the show a little while ago, that you have an app that accompanies this book.
Yeah.
And so in 30 seconds, tell me about the app.
Well, the app was designed to help you, walk you through the actual book. So after you read a chapter, you can access an audio track in the app to support what you just read. And I'm going to teach you a meditation exercise. And then if you want to dive in deeper, you want to lose weight, you want to build your confidence, self-esteem, sleep better, reduce stress, play better golf.
Who doesn't want play better golf? You had me.
Yeah.
You actually had me at a better night's sleep. Did you say better night's sleep?
I did.
I thought so. Yeah, that's important. So that's great.
All these things have to do with mindset, and what I've done in the app is made things very easy for you to work on these skills to help your mind agree with your best of intentions. And like you said at the beginning of this, this talk is really about putting those and making them to your greatest accomplishments.
Right, so I want to do this and I want to make it happen. This is how we do it. Well, this is great. So the book is Leverage Your Mindset. If you go to the App Store, Android, iOS, whatever those initials are, you just look for
my name, Ricky Kalmon.
Oh, Ricky Kalmon. Okay,
That's it.
Great. Ricky Kalmon. Easy,
search the title, Ricky
easy
Kalmon.
peasy. All right, and to wrap it all up, if there's one last nugget of information you want to share, a tip that we can go away and start doing immediately to accomplish some of these intentions that we have, what would that be?
I would start with make a promise. Make a promise to yourself, but make a promise in a contract. You know, when you get a check from somebody, if the check's not signed, it's pretty worthless. You're going to leave it around. You're not going to really covet it. You're not going to hold it. You're not going to deposit it. It doesn't mean anything to you. But when you sign a check, it has value. Why don't you start with writing a contract or one statement that I'm going to make time for myself today.
Statement like
I'm gonna leverage my mindset today. I'm gonna take 5 or 10 minutes and I'm gonna be a better version of myself today to invest in my mindset. And write that down in a statement and sign it.
Okay, now I want to get specific on that statement. It's not just I want to be a better version of myself. What do I want to make better?
That's up to you. And that's really up to you. And by the way, that software that you're updating by making that statement can change daily. So why not make a daily, when you get up in the morning, stop before you set your intentions. What's your priorities? What's important right now? Be present in the moment and figure out really what you're supposed to do that day and write it on a statement and sign it. And again, sign it. I know it sounds goofy.
I know, it sounds goofy, but it's like doing something to your brain.
It does.
I love it. I love it. The book, again, Leverage Your Mindset. The app, just go to the App Store and look for Ricky Kalmon. Ricky, thanks for being on the show.
Shep, it's great to see you.
Time now for the amazing app brought to you by Outreach Studios. And with delivery and pickup being more essential than ever before, this app is creating the ultimate convenience for its customers. Glimpse orchestrates amazing location-based experiences and seamless operations for delivery, pickup, field service, or anything else you can dream up. Glimpse allows businesses to deliver more than the customer expects by creating a customer experience powered by location. Whether you're in the food or retail industry, a field service technician, or any business that relies on location-based services, Glimpse can help create an amazing experience in real time. Picking up, magically have their order ready the moment they arrive and greet them by name. Delivery or service appointment? Well, let them know precisely when you'll be there so they can be ready. Easy communication tools let customers get the information they need exactly when they need it. By creating a convenient, frictionless, and overall an amazing customer experience, Glimpse is truly an amazing app. What really matters when it comes to your life and your work? The Values Conversation is a program that can help answer that question, and it's also a powerful way to align your leaders with your organization. And here to talk about how to unleash your team's potential by strengthening your leaders is the founder of the Values Conversation, Jeff Arthur. Hey, Jeff.
Shep, I got to tell you, I'm really scared to be here. I feel so much pressure. I have to be amazing, or I have to go home.
You're going to head home. It's
and
like
I'm scared.
That's my value. No, the truth. I have this.
Being amazing is your value, or kicking people out and making them go home?
That too. It depends. And we may be getting there closer than you think if you keep this up.
I'm sorry. Sorry. You wanted to ask something that was actually legitimate and serious.
My mantra, and I call it a mantra, I think every company needs a defining statement, and I'm all about customer service and experience. So my customer service experience mantra is to always be amazing. To our clients, to our employees, we're going to teach them to be amazing, and that's what we do.
Absolutely.
And then we drive it. That's everything we train people to do, is make that happen.
Absolutely.
So what is your version of the Values Conversation?
So everything you just said is phenomenally just a great example of it. Everybody makes decisions is going to be powered either, and this is oversimplification, either by what we value, what we stand on, what's most important to us, or by emotion. A lot of times the emotion take over, and most of the time that gets us in trouble. If we make decisions that are based on what's important to us or what is driving for us, we're going to be able to come back to it. Like you said, for you it's amazing. A lot of times whenever I work with leaders, it's about integrity or trustworthiness.
So those are core
or
values
respect.
of a company, and I love
Correct.
those. Right.
That's
That's a lot of what you do. I have that one little piece of value that says, I mean, in that pillar of what they have, you want to call them our pillars.
Sure,
many
absolutely.
of them do, is, what's your customer service / experience pillar? And that's
Absolutely.
where I operate. That's my space. But you're operating really in all of the core values that a company needs to come up with.
Absolutely. And what I would suggest is that for you, that pillar is amazing, but what you started breaking down was about being respectful to the customer,
Yep.
about being courteous, about being trustworthy. There's all kinds of values that are leading you in that direction, making that decision. And what we try to do is help people understand what's the foundation that you're standing on, what's the foundation that is driving you, what is the foundation you're trying to grow from. And as we help people with the values conversation, their personal values conversation, it helps set the foundation, but then it also helps set the target. In other words, this is what I value and this is who I am from those values, and this is who I want to be on a daily basis. Problem is, I'm not always that guy all the time, I'm not always that gal all the time. So what do I need to do to be him or her more often? What are the blind spots that I trip over personally, professionally? And what does that look like whenever I straighten that out? I literally, this morning, talking to an executive, an owner of a company, that talking about a guy he's working with that he's chewing up team members and spitting them out and has no recognition of it whatsoever. Total blind spot.
No realization.
No realization,
Yeah.
total blind spot. And this owner is talking about how that's not what he values at all. What is he going to need to do with that? How does that play into how he deals with this guy? The difference of the values always comes back one way or the other. You have close friends, Shep, and I would be willing to bet you any amount of money, marbles, chalk, whatever you got in your pocket, that those friends are going to value a lot of the same things that you value.
Right.
Just
birds of a feather.
going to draw
flock
together because it's just innate. Well, we help bring that out so people recognize what those values are and then help with those decisions that they make personally, professionally.
All right. So my next question was going to be who needs the conversation. It sounds like you're talking to leadership, and that's important. It sounds like sometimes there's incongruency where
Great word.
they want to be something, but they're not in real life, but they want to be something.
Absolutely.
Do you try to help them get to where they want to be, or do you say, hey, here's who you are, exploit that, make that work? Which is the best way to go?
Absolutely. So whenever we started this out, I was a personal coach. So I was not in companies, I was not in corporations. I was literally personal coach working with individuals, and it was all about helping them with the incongruency. And that grew as I'm working with individuals who either own their own businesses or were leaders in the business. Hey, can you come into the company and help us with whatever? And word of mouth just spread and we continue to go. But it's all about helping in the incongruency and helping people line up on an internal level. You think about in the world we live in now where people are struggling with stress and anxiety and all kinds of I can't control stuff and whatever. A lot of the things that actually add to that is the personal incongruency that people don't even realize. They just become accustomed to it. If I understand what my base is, which is my values, and I understand who I am from those values, and then I start adjusting the behaviors from who I am based on those values, the congruency begins and I start to feel so much more peaceful, focused, driven. I'm accomplishing stuff. I'm better in my relationships. I'm more focused with what I'm trying to do for work or find a better job or whatever that is, all coming back to the values conversation. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with that have went in working to get a new job with a resume and going to have the interview, and they come out going, oh my gosh, I got the job. And it was talking about how I felt so much more confident, I felt so much more focused and whatever, because I knew who I am, knew what I'm trying to do, knew where I'm trying to go. And this job is just part of that journey.
This is going beyond leadership then. This is just, I know you said you started out one-on-one coaching, but this sounds like it. If I were a CEO of a company and I engaged you and you're working with me, how long is this going to take me for me to become congruent?
It depends on the individual, it depends on the team, it depends on the company. Mm-hmm. I have worked with some clients for a month and we're doing great. I have worked with other clients by choice, not because they were so incongruent, but I still work with clients, been working with them for 10, 12 years.
You know what we call those people? Slow learners with money. All right.
Either that or it's it kind of shows you what kind of coach I am. I'm just not that good. I just kind of keep working, a little scary. But no, it's the same stuff of, they want to keep growing. What we do is we facilitate values-based growth and development. So this is about how do we continue that growth and continue that development and continue that journey.
All right, one last question. I always ask this question at the end. One final nugget. What's the one thing you want to make sure this audience hears from you today?
That there's always more. One way or the other, if we want to be growing and developing in our life, that only happens if we have a strong foundation. The strong foundation is what we value. If I know what my values are, that I can continue to develop, continue to grow, and continue to become more, even better, whenever I know what I'm standing on to begin with.
Awesome. Jeff Arthur, The Values Conversation.
Thanks
very
much.
for being on the show.
My pleasure. I hope I was amazing so I don't have to go
You
home.
are totally amazing. So stay amazing so you can stay here.
Wonderful. I appreciate it. I like the studio.
All right. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's time to hear from you and time to Ask Shep, which is brought to you by Outreach Studios. You can find me anywhere on the web, including these social channels. So use the hashtag AskShep to ask me your questions or share your amazing stories. So let's begin. Liz Gilligan is a sales manager at a clothing store, and she asks, you've talked about making amazing customer service a habit. What are some of the ways to ritualize the customer experience? Well, that's a great question. Start by understanding the process around what your customer experiences. For example, you may have a process for the customer to pay their bill. Take that simple customer journey and really dig into the details. You want a similar experience every time. And once you've done that, train everyone to do it. And even after that, be sure that you have reminders and follow-ups to ensure the ritual remains a ritual and doesn't go off course. So next we have Troy Birmingham, who owns several restaurants, and he asked, with the pandemic changing the way we do business, does that change the loyalty question in your opinion? Now, for those who don't know my loyalty question, it's this. Am I managing the interaction with the customer that I'm having right now in such a way that will make them come back the next time they need whatever it is that we sell? And it doesn't matter if it's the best of times or the worst of times or in the middle of a pandemic, you must always focus on the next time, every time. And by the way, loyalty in restaurants doesn't mean they visit you every time they want a meal. That's somewhat unrealistic. But I would say someone who comes in once a week or on some other regular cadence can be defined as loyal. Finally, we have Kathy Hess, who owns and operates a fitness center, and she asks, how do you create an environment or a culture where employees feel empowered to do the right thing? Wow, now this is a big question. We can do an entire segment on it. So here's a quick answer. Let's assume you've hired good people to start with, and you've trained them. Now, let them do their job. If they have to ask permission to do something and you tell them yes, also remind them that it's a permanent yes and they don't ever have to ask again in the future. Also, share what that ask was with the rest of the team so they know what to do in the same situation. So, are you ready to be amazing? Remember, you can find me just about anywhere on social media. So connect with us on our social channels and don't forget to use the hashtag AskShep to ask me your question or share your amazing story. Time now for the amazing quote brought to you by Outreach Studios. Most companies have a tagline, a phrase, or a sentence that describes what they're all about. Sometimes that doubles as a brand promise. Now, along those lines, I want you to come up with a customer service promise. For some companies, their tagline is their customer service promise. For example, Zappos.com's tagline is powered by service. 3 words that exhibit a commitment to the customer. Or the Ritz-Carlton's hotel chain is a 9-word promise, or a motto as they call it. We are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. And then there is one of my new favorites and is today's amazing quote, which comes from the Symbiosis Company in Nashville. And their motto is, kiss our client till their lips bleed. Now, obviously, Symbiosis doesn't really want to make their clients' lips bleed, but if you read it, you get it. They are obviously passionate about their clients, and that love they show their clients is in the form of delivering amazing customer service, keeping promises to customers, and much more. All of these statements are short and easily remembered. I actually refer to them as mantras. One definition of a mantra is a statement or slogan that is repeated. So if you don't already have a customer service promise or mantra, come up with one. This is important, so don't rush it. It could take weeks to come up with just the right customer service promise. And if you already have a mantra, or once you get one, print it out and have every employee sign and commit to it. Even if you've done this before, let this day be a ritual you do every year to renew that commitment. Ideally, you'll have a huge poster where everyone signs their name. When it comes to your customer service promise and vision, every member of your organization must be in alignment. Everyone must understand it, and ideally, if it's short, it should be memorized. It must be part of your culture, and everyone must be trained to not only understand what it means and how it impacts the customer, but also how to deliver and live up to the standards needed to deliver on your customer service mantra. Well, that wraps up this edition of Be Amazing or Go Home. And remember, you can find me just about anywhere on social media, so be sure to connect with us on our social channels, and don't forget to use the hashtag AskShep to ask me your questions. Thanks for tuning in. This is Shep Hyken reminding you to always be amazing.